Parliament is set to resume at 3 p.m., where the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee chairperson is expected to come up with that report of the minutes on how they came into this decision, and when the IEBC heads appeared before that particular committee. We'll definitely be going back there live at 3 p.m. to bring you live proceedings. But we understand that outside Parliament, the area is still cordoned off. Some roads have been closed along Parliament just to avoid any chaos from what was witnessed in the morning. Let's cross over there to Timothy Otieno, who is still manning the roads outside Parliament to give us a situation report. Good afternoon once again, Timothy. Just keep us up to date with what is happening outside Parliament currently.
Well, thank you, Akisa. Well, outside Parliament, a lot of tension. Tension is still very high from the last time we spoke. As you can see behind me, of course, there's a police truck that has since cordoned off a section of Parliament Road, prohibiting and blocking pedestrians and passengers from applying this particular route, and it's across this area in the entire Parliament buildings, because right now I'm at the intersection between Parliament Road and Harambe Avenue, and just on my right is where the main entrance for Parliament is. And as you can see, there is a police barricade. If my colleague Tommy and Nyongesa could just pan a little bit, there's a police barricade that has been put, and you can see there's some screening, and motorists are being prevented from actually plying this particular route, just all in a measure to, of course, ensure that there is peace. A lot of tension. I was trying to speak to some of the police officers here, the reason as to why they decided to barricade the Parliament buildings. Of course, they could not tell us vividly, of course, saying that they were not at liberty to talk to the media in this regard. But we get a sense of tension, whether it's valid or not, surrounding today's proceedings in Parliament that has seen most of this area cordoned off. And of course, the public has since been prohibited from accessing some of these areas. Now, aside from that, parliamentarians themselves were not allowed to enter Parliament buildings with their vehicles. They have since parked most of their vehicles at the KICC complex or along Harambe Avenue, just off camera. So most of the parliamentarians were coming to this point that you're seeing, and of course they were dropping off and then entering Parliament buildings on foot. Now that has extended to even a section of Harambe Avenue right behind me that has been closed off, except for pedestrians who are allowed, but no motorists are allowed to ply this particular route. There has been a barricade right at the far end, and of course that is the situation here. Not a lot of movement, a lot of police presence, members of the National Police Service, as well as a few members of the General Service Unit who we were able to spot in lorries. Some were even riding on horses, and of course most of them coming with their armored vehicles. I could count almost above 50 members of security forces within this particular area at this intersection. The other ones have been placed at the intersection between City Hall Way and Parliament Road, and some we did manage to spot a few others at Uhuru Park, sort of just trying to man the situation. A lot of security presence, but of course we were not able to speak to some of them, but we were able to spot a few members of Parliament who did walk in. Among them, of course, was Budalangi Member of Parliament, Babu Namwamba, as well as the Senate Minority Leader, Moses Wetangula, whom we did spot leave Parliament buildings about an hour ago, Akisa.
Timothy, how long are they planning to close those roads? Are they going to wait until the proceedings are adjourned or Parliament is adjourned in the evening, because they're getting back at 3 p.m.?
Yes, of course, Akisa, I did speak to some of the security personnel, of course, who are telling us that they were under instruction to stay here for as long as possible. Now, that basically means they are going to be staying here until they have been directed otherwise, and that means, of course, that could mean possibly into the afternoon session. It begins at 3 p.m. So we could see this road or these roads closed for a very, very long time. And that is, of course, a section of Harambe Avenue as well as Parliament building, Parliament Road rather, that has been cordoned off. And of course, the members of Parliament and the public rather are not allowed to access these roads. So this situation could persist for as long as the parliamentarians are in session, depending on what is going to be taking place at the floor of of the assembly. But what we see is a sense of a police service that had been prepared for any situation outside Parliament. Remember, this promised to be a combative session, and it did deliver on that. The last time we saw parliamentarians come in with whistles, and some of the security people whom we were speaking to were telling us that perhaps they were fearful, and the directive that they had been issued to man this area was on the fact that perhaps some of the members of Parliament had been told, they thought rather that some members of Parliament would come with their supporters, and of course they were getting prepared for that. So what you're seeing on your screens right now, of course, is the Budalangi Member of Parliament, Ababu Namwamba, who is also, I believe, waiting for his security vehicle. So it's not business as usual at Parliament buildings, Akisa. A lot of security checks, and even the members of Parliament themselves have not been exempted from this thorough situation, Akisa.
All right.